From blink and you miss it callbacks to hidden comic references, these are the wildest Walking Dead Easter eggs, including the origin of the A mark and the moment that secretly foreshadowed Rick's fate. Number 10. The Don't Open Dead Inside callback. Right at the start of The Walking Dead, that hospital door sets the tone. But what most fans missed is how that exact phrase quietly returns later in the series. In Season 5, when Rick's group arrives at Terminus, the visual storytelling mirrors that same message.
Welcome to Terminus.
The sanctuary promise is basically the same warning in disguise. Different words, same meaning. Why it hits. It's the show telling you nothing has changed. The world is still just as brutal as Episode 1. Fans love this because it connects the beginning and middle of Rick's journey without saying a word. It ranks here because it's subtle. But the next one? It's way harder to miss once you see it. Number 9. The repeated pocket watch symbolism. Early in the series, Herschel's pocket watch feels like just a character detail, until you realize it quietly becomes a symbol of time, loss, and the illusion of control. After Herschel Green dies, that watch doesn't just disappear. It shows up again, passed along, almost like a reminder that no one really owns time in this world. In several scenes, characters check watches right before things go horribly wrong. It's not random, it's intentional framing. Why it hits? Because it reinforces one of the show's core themes. You can't outrun fate, no matter how prepared you think you are. Fans didn't notice it at first, but on rewatch, it becomes eerie. Every tick feels like a countdown to something bad. It ranks here because it's more thematic than shocking, but it adds a deeper layer to the storytelling. And if you think that's subtle, the next one was hiding in plain sight the entire time. Number 8. The A and B markings explained before they matter. Long before the CRM storyline fully unfolds, the show quietly plants clues with the mysterious A and B labels. You see it at Terminus. You see it with Gabriel Stokes. You even see it in the way certain prisoners are treated. At first, it feels random, like just another creepy detail. But later, especially with Rick Grimes and the helicopter storyline, it clicks. These letters were part of a classification system all along. Why it hits? Because the show was planning something bigger years in advance. Fans went crazy when this paid off, realizing those tiny details weren't throwaway moments. It ranks here because the payoff comes much later. But once you connect the dots, it completely changes how you view earlier seasons. And somehow, the next Easter egg is even more hidden. Number 7. The same walker appearing across seasons. It sounds crazy, but one specific walker design keeps showing up across multiple seasons. And no, it's not just reused extras. Sharp-eyed fans noticed a female walker with distinct facial damage and clothing appearing in Atlanta. Then again seasons later in different locations. At first, it feels like production recycling, but the consistency is way too intentional. Why it hits? Because it quietly reinforces the idea that the world is connected. That walkers don't just vanish. They wander. Endlessly. From a storytelling angle, it adds this haunting continuity. The dead don't reset between arcs. They linger. Fans who caught this felt like they unlocked a secret layer of realism most viewers missed. It ranks here because it's more of a visual Easter egg than narrative, but it sticks with you once you notice it. And if that gave you chills, the next one ties directly into the comics in a way most people completely missed. Number 6. The comic-accurate background characters. Throughout The Walking Dead, there are background survivors who are almost perfect recreations of comic characters, even when they don't get named. In places like Alexandria and Hilltop, you can spot people styled exactly like panels from The Walking Dead. Same hair, same outfits, same posture. Why it hits? Because it's a love letter to hardcore fans. The showrunners are basically saying, yeah, we remember everything. It also bridges the gap between comic and TV universe without forcing full adaptations. Fans who read the comics instantly recognize these nods, while casual viewers just see background extras. It ranks higher because it rewards deep fandom. But now we're getting into Easter eggs that actually foreshadow major storylines. If some of the moments you were expecting haven't shown up yet, don't worry, because the top half of this list is where things get even more intense. And if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, make sure you're subscribed, because the next ones change everything. Number 5. Morgan's clear sign, hidden before his breakdown. Before Morgan Jones fully spirals into his clear mindset, the show quietly teases it.
Hey! I'm right here!
In earlier episodes, you can spot faint markings and obsessive patterns in his environment. Scratched words, repeated symbols, subtle hints that something isn't right. Then, when we finally see him again, completely broken, writing "clear" everywhere, it doesn't come out of nowhere. Why it hits? Because it turns what looked like a sudden character shift into a long brewing psychological collapse. It's storytelling through environment, something the show rarely gets enough credit for. Fans who caught this on rewatch realized Morgan's trauma had been building long before his big return. It ranks here because it deepens a character arc we thought we understood. But from here on out, these Easter eggs don't just add detail. They completely change how you see the story. Number 4. Rick's jacket foreshadowing his leadership arc. Rick Grimes' sheriff jacket isn't just iconic, it's symbolic in ways most fans didn't notice at first. Early on, it represents order, law, and the old world. But as Rick evolves, the way he wears it, or abandons it, mirrors his transformation. There are moments where the jacket is dirty, damaged, or completely gone during his darkest decisions. Why it hits? Because it visually tracks his descent from lawman to survivor, and then to something in between. It's subtle, but intentional. Costume design as character storytelling. Fans love this detail because it doesn't need dialogue. You feel the change before it's ever spoken. It ranks this high because it spans multiple seasons and reflects the core theme of the show, who you become to survive. And now, we're entering the top 3, the Easter eggs that fans still debate to this day. Number 3, the CDC whisper that predicted everything. Back in Season 1, when Rick Grimes is at the CDC with Jenner, there's that moment, the whisper. We don't hear it. It's intentionally muted. And for years, fans debated what was said. Later, it's revealed. Everyone is already infected.
I know it looks bad. We've all been through hell and worse, but at least we found each other.
But here's the Easter egg. The show actually foreshadows this before the reveal. Subtle dialogue, the way Jenner reacts, even the hopeless tone of the scene. It's all there if you're paying attention. Why it hits? Because it turns the entire premise of the show upside down. Death isn't the threat. It's inevitable. Fans went wild when this paid off. Suddenly, every earlier death hits harder on rewatch. This ranks at number 3 because it's not just hidden. It redefines the entire world. And if you thought that changed everything, the next one is even more personal. Number 2, the Carl's hat legacy detail. Carl Grimes' hat seems like just an iconic look until you realize it quietly becomes a legacy symbol. After everything Carl goes through, that hat doesn't disappear. It gets passed on. It shows up in key emotional moments, especially tied to Judith Grimes. It's not just clothing. It represents hope, the future, and everything Rick was fighting for. Why it hits? Because it's a silent continuation of Carl's story, even after he's gone. Fans still talk about this. That hat carries more emotional weight than entire speeches. It ranks this high because it transforms a simple prop into one of the show's most meaningful symbols. But nothing compares to number one. Number one, the hidden foreshadowing of Rick's death. When Rick Grimes is taken away by the helicopter, most fans saw it as a shocking exit. But the Easter egg? The show had been hinting at this kind of disappearance long before it happened. Those CRM symbols, the A and B markings, the strange helicopter sightings seasons earlier, even the way certain characters were evaluated. It was all building to this. Why it hits? Because on first watch, it feels sudden. On rewatch, it feels inevitable. This is one of the most unforgettable moments in the entire series, not just because Rick leaves, but because the show secretly told us it was coming. Fans still debate the clues leading up to it. It's the kind of long-term setup that rewards patience. It takes the number one spot because it proves The Walking Dead was playing a much longer game than we realized. These were the craziest Easter eggs in The Walking Dead you completely missed. Which one stood out to you the most? Did we miss any hidden details? Comment them below. We might include them in the next video. Make sure to subscribe for more Walking Dead content like this. Click here, the 10 dumbest decisions Rick Grimes ever made, to watch our last video on the most shocking Walking Dead deaths. It's just as insane.